We're back. We're live. We are on
Yes.
YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. Yeah.
Twitch. Yeah, so make sure you comment wherever you are watching from. Also, we have the monkey line that the Port Laureate took advantage of many times last week, and you can as well.
Please.
That is 707-4-MONKEY, or as you see, 707-466-6539. The long national nightmare is over, Johnny. We're no longer tariffing the penguins, I don't think. Those poor penguins on that remote island. Are they still being tariffed? I'm not quite sure. I know there's a 90-day pause, but
not very specific. But yeah, just a couple hours ago before we came live, the president decided to put a 90-day pause on these tariffs, and I think he said it's a pause on the nations that didn't retaliate. So China is still hanging out there.
Yeah, that's a fun one, back and forth.
Yeah,
but I don't know. I don't know if he heard from the Emperor Penguin from March of the Penguins. I don't know if he squawked on the phone with him and said, "Hey, knock it off,
man.
We got to export Happy Feet. That's the only source of income we have on this island."
And one of his ding dong minions was on the Sunday shows saying, like, well, the reason he did that, he knows what he's doing. The reason he did that was to make sure that no country has any sort of loophole, and they don't try to route things, through the penguins to us. And like, no, just say, hey, all right, one got away from us, we'll take it off the list and be done with
exactly.
it. Why do we draw these things out?
Always got to defend.
So just moments ago, he came out of the White House and accused us all of being a little yippy.
And by the way, this was during a photo op with NASCAR and like IndyCar, and then and it turns into the national, like the world economy gets discussed while the NASCAR guys are back there just kind of hanging out. But
wow, so he was having some sort of a meeting with the NASCAR people for whatever reason a president would do that.
Some photo op. I don't know if he's trying to sell a NASCAR like he did with Tesla a while back. He just loves having cars on the lawn now.
So he just lean out the Oval Office door and say, "Oh, and by the way, paused all the tariffs I said about the other day."
Right. Exactly.
Let's put a hold on Liberation Day. Not as important as I thought.
Correct.
I decided to put a 90-day pause.
Well, I thought that people were jumping a little bit out of line. They were getting yippy, They were getting a little bit yippy, a little bit afraid, unlike these champions, because we have a big job to do. No other president would have done what I did. No other president. I know the presidents. They wouldn't have done it.
Is that a good thing? Is that something as you should be proud of, as he seems to think that that's like the bring it home line of like nobody else would do that except me?
I like the way he alleges that he knows all the presidents. Truman and Roosevelt and Hoover. I know them all. We hung out together.
We have. I don't think that's as cool as he thinks it is.
I don't think so either.
Do it. It does take guts. It even takes guts for our country to go through it. That's why I say be cool. They were saying about, just be cool. It's going to work out.
Be cool, man.
Be cool. Just relax.
Be cool. I don't want to fight. Be cool.
What is he from? Is he in Pulp Fiction now? Is he like, everybody be cool, this is a robbery?
Yeah.
And if anybody moves, we just no one get yippy. Just be cool. I had
experience.
Jump out of line. I'm going to take you out.
I don't remember if I was in the Sharks or in the Jets, but just be cool, boy. Let's just keep it cool, man. We're just going to keep it cool.
What in the hell is going on here?
Yeah.
Going to work out, and it's working out. I can tell you, working out maybe faster than I thought. The bond market now is beautiful. I saw last night where people were getting a little queasy. I think everything.
A little queasy, little yippy. Not very cool. Little.
Here's what you need to do: get yourself some Pepto. Be cool. Just kind of relax. Go to flavor country with your Marlboros and your Pepto-Bismol. We'll take care of it. It's going to be fine.
Kelly, I don't know what you're saying there, buddy. I love you, but I have no idea what that...
Read as fucking orange shoot gibbon.
Right.
Apparently,
I agree with you, Kelly, though. I agree. Yeah. I don't know what you said, but damn it, I defend your right to say it. God love
That was the Irish coming in from the islands over there across the pond, letting us know what they think about the tariffs. They're queasy about it.
Yeah. So don't be Yippy. God damn it. You're messing up my plan.
You can go Yippy.
Yeah.
That we lifted the tariffs, but don't get yippee about there being tariffs.
Right.
Oh, God.
And and if things get out of control, remember, fucking orange and shoot, Gibbon.
Shoot Gibbon. Shoot Gibbons, all right. Exactly. Yeah. Shoot that Gibbon.
Okay.
It's like he's shooting down the penguins and their
fine.
tariffs.
I like it.
It's better than some other ones that we've discussed. Now, the stay of the tariffs lifted the stock market, so almost kind of like rising from the dead.
Oh, is that your segue?
Yeah. See what I did there? Trying to bring it up around town.
Something.
Yeah. This video, I asked you when we first were like planning the show, like, hey, did you? Because this could be a Twismo in the future, but you had already grabbed it because it needs to be discussed. It's like everyone's biggest fear, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even feel. I feel weird. It's a little funny in some really dark, ugly humor, funny ways. But I also don't feel. I feel weird laughing at it because my God,
no,
the guy. So the pallbearers are walking, and you step on to this wooden platform that's over the whole grave, and it gave way.
They drop it down once you put it on the platform there. But here's what transpires. Oh no.
A horrifying development at the worst possible time. Grieving family members stunned when pallbearers fall into the grave while carrying a casket.
Is that the worst possible time?
Well, that implies that there might be a best possible time.
In all seriousness, I don't know if that's the worst possible time because you have a fall there that's into dirt, right? I think the worst possible time would be walking him down the aisle, or her, whoever's in there, at the church. You drop it and they fall out. That's the worst possible time. In this particular situation, you're just helping out. They're already down there now. You just got to get yourself out, and you've done half the work.
A grieving family is speaking out after pallbearers fell into the grave while carrying the casket of their loved one. The platform above the burial site collapsed right under their feet. Pallbearers were carrying Benjamin Alaves to his final resting spot as they began to lay down the casket. Video shows the platform above the burial site collapse, sending the men plunging into the hole with the casket.
It's very Christmas Carol, isn't it? It's very Ghosts of Christmas Future. Whose grave is it? All your graves. They get out of there. Is it Christmas? Can I still save myself?
And I guess the person who was the most injured was this guy's son, who ended up underneath the casket.
No, okay, that's terrifying.
That's what I mean.
That I didn't know that part of the equation. That's terrifying. That's a possible 2-for-1 situation that no one wants.
There's got to be like 9 guys in there.
Yeah, if you reverse it just a little bit, right before they cut to the back of this woman's head, that guy just disappears. Like the second guy in from the left, he just disappears when it goes down. So if you watch, and he's gone.
Right,
just gone. The other ones are okay. I mean, relatively speaking, okay. You can still see their heads, but that guy just gets sucked right in.
Yeah. There you go, Kelly. You cleaned it up.
Yeah.
That's that's the new Philadelphia escape room.
Right. Yes, if you can make it out of the grave, you live.
So I guess his son was in the worst of all of them. The casket was on top of him, and he was out like a light with his face in the mud. So he was face down.
Oh, it's a good thing someone checked underneath. They could have just left it after we hey, everyone accounted for. Sure, we got enough. We got enough pallbearers made it out. Just start filling it up. It's okay.
Was it 8? Was it 9? I don't remember.
I don't know. That's a lot of pallbearers.
The funeral home and cemetery have no comment to Action News. I think they should apologize, said one of the attendees. There should be some reimbursement, being that the ceremony was interrupted and nothing was done properly. I don't think that's the thing you need to be reimbursed for.
No. Well, I mean, what happened interrupted the ceremony, yes, but, maybe the psychological trauma that the son will almost share the same grave with his father.
That could have happened. That could have happened.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Face down in the mud. If they didn't take a correct numbers count, that poor bastard still be underneath there. Just there they go.
Dude, that everybody, probably including the dead guy, is going to have nightmares forever.
Yeah. You're never being a pallbearer again.
No.
Right? Someone comes to you and you're like, nope, sorry. Check the video. I already almost died once doing this gig. I'm not doing it again.
Absolutely out of control. The monkey phone is ringing.
Oh, all right. Monkey line right away this early. I love
Always
it.
like it when the monkey line rings at 707-4-MONKEY. Hello, you are on with Mike and Molson.
I'll never forget when we buried Uncle Ben. It just didn't stop when he landed on top of his nephew, Ken.
Well done, Poet Laureate. Boom. Nailed it as always.
Always like to hear from our official Poet Laureate, who has for years always chimed in the middle of.
He's taken what usually gets us what takes us 10 to 12 minutes to get, and he's able to get it down to a nice 20 seconds there.
Yeah, that's right.
It's a nice little limerick.
That's very true. I remember.
Nice.
I remember the first time I was ever at a funeral, and we were looking for, you're in there in the funeral home looking for a place to sit, and I told my parents we couldn't sit in this place because they were reserved for some guy named Paul Bearer. I don't know. There's like 7 people with the same name.
If we're sharing Paul Bearer stories, real quick before we move on to another story about a child eating his grandpa's ashes, the manager Paul Bearer for The Undertaker called my friends a slur at one point because they were yelling at him. They were in the front row and they were yelling, "Hey, fatty, we can't see." And Paul Bearer turned around in the Paul Bearer voice and said, "Shut your mouth, you effing," and then said a slang word for homosexual to their faces. So,
good Lord.
Yeah. So that their claim to fame is, you can never take that away from me. Paul Bearer called me a
Jeez.
What?
It's been a rough week for dead people.
Yes.
As this video went on TikTok.
Old TikTok. Yeah, this mom, a British mother, mortified after seeing her toddler had been chewing away and eating her dad's ashes. She said, "Oh my God, when your son eats your dad's ashes," she said behind the camera, showing viewers a brown urn as the little boy started to cry. "My son has eaten my dad's ashes," the social media user added, turning the camera to a packet of wet wipes on the couch covered with dad. And it was, she posted the video. She's in the UK. She said she's been putting the laundry away and she noticed that her 1-year-old had done. She says she insisted the urn had been placed on the top shelf, but he still managed to get his hands on it. And once it was open, as a toddler will do, I'll try it, see how delicious that is.
Oh my God, when your son eats your dad, his ashes. My son has eaten my dad's ashes. Oh my God, when your son eats your dad, his ashes. My son has eaten my dad's ashes.
What do you do in that situation?
I hope this actually happened as she says it happened.
In that stage?
Please tell me.
Are you thinking she staged it and poured her dad out for clicks?
Yes, I am.
Poured her dad's ashes out for clicks?
That's exactly what I am alleging.
That is how cynical you have. Now that you've put that thought in my head, it wouldn't surprise me in today's day and age
I just
I mean,
don't trust
'cause you have
TikTok anymore.
there's a lot of ashes. And what's a few of them missing for 3 million clicks and saying that my child ate the ashes?
And man,
What's
yeah,
the worst that could happen? I mean, kids eat dirt. So what's the worst that could happen? They get a taste for human flesh somehow. I mean, come on.
that's right. British cuisine hits another high note. You're right, Kelly. It's still very bland.
So the kid turns into Army Hammer and starts eating people. What's the big deal?
Oh my God. When your son eats your dad as ashes. My son has eaten my dad's ashes. Oh my God. When your son eats your dad as ashes.
I'm just hoping that he did actually eat the ashes. Because the kid's going to be a teenager someday, and this thing still exists out there. It's like, here's the time Mom threw your grandfather in your face for clicks, and rubbed it all over your mouth.
Rubbed it all over your face, put it on the couch. Because you're right, there's a lot of ashes there, and it's strewn almost too perfectly. If we're going to CSI the hell out of this TikTok video, there are a lot of them strewn. So there they are there, right? I don't know if she's done cleanup already, but if this is what she happened upon,
yeah,
there's some there, and the urn is not turned over; it's back standing upright. So that's one thing with your theory.
It's possible that she starts filming after this thing, and she puts the urn back where it was. I don't know. It is a nice side dish to bangers and mash. You're right, Paul. Thank you.
Depending on what part of Grandpa you ate, maybe a banger or a mash.
As ashes. My son has eaten my dad's ashes.
I mean, it's certainly on his face, and it's certainly on his shirt.
And if you notice, there's just kind of a pile on the couch. There isn't a lot of trail, it doesn't look like, from urn to the couch, as there probably should be.
As ashes.
I don't know. I think you may be onto something.
My son has eaten my dad's ashes.
I hope he actually did. That's all I am saying. I hope it actually happened.
I think we have a new business opportunity, Johnny. TikTok detectives.
Yes.
We'll
TikTok
spot the
CSI.
fakes. Yeah, TikTok CSI. That's going to be our new podcast. Where please send us all your TikToks you think are questionable, and we'll break them down. Oh, these kids are great. Here's kids doing something bad but should be rewarded for doing something. The end game is so good. It's fantastic.
Yeah. All right, I didn't have the video ready. Go ahead.
No,
Keep
that's
talking.
all right. Yeah, so what you're seeing is 3 kids over in Russia are at a claw machine. And I'm assuming the oldest brother is the mastermind that realizes that the youngest brother can fit into the chute here. So he pushes his brother down and says, you know what? We're stuck in Russia. We're going to get our damn toys out of this thing. So as you can see, little brother gets in there. They're like, "Yep, grab the Pikachu."
And he's got a sack like he's a burglar, like he's a cat burglar.
They thought this out.
Yeah.
So the next thing you know, now look at little brother. He's standing up inside there. He cleans out the entire machine.
It is empty.
He's just going to town, shoving it all out there.
He has emptied it.
Yes. There is not a toy left for anyone else. And now he's like, time to Tom Cruise this bitch. I'm out Mission Impossible style. And he gets ready to roll down the chute. And here comes older brother, yanks him out by the feet and says, hell yeah, here we go, bro. We got this. Little finagling, and we're clear. And look at us. Now we got all these toys.
That's incredible.
A fantastic job by these 3. I don't think they should face any repercussions. I know what they did is technically illegal, and you shouldn't be stealing, but how many among us have felt that the claw machine has stolen our monies over the years?
Well, yeah, you're exactly right about that. Yeah, it is revenge for that scam of a machine.
Yes. And I love how other people are walking in and out a little bit in the background, and even they are in awe of what they're seeing.
Yeah, just another day in Russia.
The fact that little brother doesn't have to be coaxed or coached through the whole process at all. It's like they said, I feel like these kids Ocean 13'd it. Like they set up a pseudo claw machine of his own stuffed animals and said, all right, you're going to have 15 seconds. Here's going to have to clear it out. And we got to get out of here before we get caught.
It's impressive because it looks like a young kid, looks like a little toddler.
Right.
And
normally you can't get them to do anything that you would like them to do.
I mean, he knows exactly, but then, like Augustus Gloop, he gets stuck in the tube.
Yes. But credit the older brother, like, I'll get you out. There we go. Boom. Stuffed animals for everyone.
Wow.
The smartest one is the one wearing a hood with their back to the camera the whole time to be like, I'm not related to these two jamokes. Yeah. I've plausible deniability there. That wasn't me. That wasn't me at all.
But that is an empty machine. There's nothing left for anybody else. Hope he goes and hope he's like a Robin Hood and he goes and gives it to everybody.
Yeah, he should go give it to the kids stuck in the hospital.
Steal from the claw machine and give it to the poor.
Yeah, he's like a modern day Robin Hood. Love it. Love it. Here is go ahead.
Yeah, we got a guy in California who I'm kind of glad that airlines have cracked down on emotional animals, where it's got to be a dog or a cat, and even then, there's a lot more animals on planes than I think there are emotionally disturbed people. It just doesn't feel right, does it?
No, you're right. Too many times you see too many dogs, cats, hamsters, but they have cracked down. Remember there's the famous story about the emotional support peacock at an airport many years ago. But I'm going to go on a limb here in this particular instance to say, I think just one emotional support tiger is probably one too many. I sure as hell know 7 is over the limit.
71-year-old man in Nevada arrested after authorities seized 7 tigers, which he claimed were all emotional support animals that he kept in his home. Carl Mitchell lives in Pahrump, about 65 miles west of Las Vegas.
Of course it is.
He didn't have proper permits to keep the animals. I guess that's the problem.
It's Vegas.
Right.
I have a buddy who lives out there, and he says if you have enough money, Vegas will make it happen.
The sheriff, Joe McGill. That's a good Nevada sheriff name.
Sheriff
Joe McGill said the man has been seen walking the animals on and off his property, and posts on social media showed him allowed others to interact with the tigers, which is a violation of the law. Mitchell
if you see someone walking a tiger in your neighborhood, do you go up to him?
Yeah, who's your kitty?
Or do you just
a funny kitty face?
Or you just go, you know what? That's something you don't see every day. Continue on. Just make sure you clean up if they go on my lawn.
Old dude says he claimed he did not need the special condition animal permits because the tigers had already been recognized by county officials as his emotional support animals. Show me the documents. I want to see that. And he also claims...
Go ahead.
He also claims the tigers did not pose any threat.
They're tigers. They may not pose any threat. Just ask Siegfried and Roy how that worked out.
Whichever one of those got... and here's the crazy twist of the story. These tigers were rescued from Joe Exotic.
That checks. Yeah. That checks. That makes perfect sense that they would end up 65 miles outside of Vegas.
Yeah.
The old Joe Exotic tigers. After the third time he comes into the office to file for the emotional support animal, and it's a tiger again, doesn't someone in the office go, hey, we got a situation over here?
Right.
He just came in with the 4th emotional support tiger. Does anyone need that many emotional support animals?
Yeah. You should be emotionally supported by now, I would think. Once you get to 4 tigers, that should be plenty for any man to settle himself down, whatever emotional needs he's having.
Yeah, 4 should be more than enough. You sure as hell don't need 7. Amazing. That's for certain. Yeah, absolutely ridiculous. Well, speaking of the ridiculous, emphasis on the dick part, here is a story. This woman got pranked by her boyfriend and her daughter. And that's where things get a little weird to me. Let me introduce you to this woman. She is from Louisiana. Her name is Tina. And Tina Leday is her name. And she's traveling abroad. This was the first time she was traveling out of the country. And so her boyfriend, Ryan, thought it'd be hilarious to put a sex toy in her bag and have it searched by customs. But he needed the help of Tina's daughter, Brianna, who was traveling with them.
Hold on.
Ryan went ahead and had purchased a double-ended dildo before giving it to Brianna to sneak into the Tina's hand luggage.
You can't do that.
He buys a double dong and says to the daughter, who is of age, it's not like he gave it to an 8-year-old.
I don't care.
But it's still weird.
It's very weird.
Hey, here's a double dildo. Sneak this in your mom's luggage. It's gonna be hilarious. Trust me on this one. I'm Ryan. I don't wear shirts very often, and I smoke. That's the vibe I get from Ryan.
Yeah.
If he's willing to buy a double dong. As Tina approached security and passed over her bag, she was left mortified after security officer opened the luggage in front of dozens of passengers to find the bright pink sex toy placed on top of her clothes.
Let's watch the video.
I cannot believe you did that.
Aha, we got you. You see what Ryan did there?
Now I'm going to shame these people, Kelly. I don't care. I am going to shame these people.
I'm not shaming their kink.
I am.
I'm shaming the dude.
Yeah, that's his kink. Giving his girlfriend's daughter a double dong dildo
to put in mom's suitcase. And what are you going to do with that? I guess throw it away when you get through customs? Or does Ryan had some other ideas? Ryan started an OnlyFans page.
How mad would you be if you are in line behind these people doing this nonsense?
Oh, you're trying to catch a damn plane, and these idiots are there with their sex toy.
Yeah. And what I guess the other thing that could have happened was she doesn't get stopped by TSA, and it just goes with them on vacation.
The daughter says our plan was almost foiled when my mom spotted her bag looked a little bit more lumpy. I was able to convince her it was just an outlet converter and she needed to hurry up to get through. So mom thought for a second, like, that looks like a giant double penis.
Right.
And it's like, oh, no. It's a power converter. You know how it is over in Europe.
Yeah.
They got the weird looking plugs.
Everything looks like a penis over there. They're free and swinging out there. Wow.
I made sure to go through first so I could wait and see if it was picked up. And fortunately, it was. My mom's reaction was priceless. And here's a travel expert did say an airport security coordinator trainer explained the behaviors, actions, and physical traits. I mean, a traveler may have a higher chance of being pulled aside. And he said, yeah, if you got some dicks in your bag, you're probably going to have those dicks looked at.
Got to give it to that guy for just giving her the side eye. Yeah. Like, really?
Exactly.
You're going to make me handle this? Is there anything in here that might poke me? Yes. The double dong dildo might poke you.
That my boyfriend bought and gave to my daughter to put in my bag. How much you bet? We should do a follow-up. How much you want to bet Ryan has an OnlyFans somewhere?
Or he's a repeat customer, I would imagine.
Yes, probably so. This came highly recommended from some of the people I subscribe to. We're going to throw it in mom's old backpack there. Yikes. Can't be doing that, Ryan, you weirdo.
Well, we live in a world, and I stand by my prediction that at some point, everybody's sex is going to be somewhere online in some form, and that even goes right up to the mayor.
Yeah, this mayor from North Dakota decided that during his lunch break, he was going to make a Randy video for his lady friend. And so he went and whipped up an old batch of thunder.
Oh, God.
Did the old, yep. And then decided, I'm going to text it. Yeah, I'm going to text it to my girlfriend. I'm going to get her real hot and bothered. The only problem was he texted to the wrong person. He texted it to someone who actually worked within City Hall. City Attorney Stephanie Stelham, who is minding her own damn business.
Oh, no.
Yeah, she ended up being the one who received the dong vid and was like, pardon me, what's going on here, sir? Then he tried to say, hey, you know what? Let's just keep this between us. No one else needs to know. I was just trying to send a Randy video to my girlfriend. He tried to put as someone quote here in the article said, he tried to put the jack back in the box, explaining that he recorded a sexy video for his girlfriend on his lunch break, requested the attorney delete the smut and keep the entire incident between the two of them. He later told city investigators that his girlfriend's name also begins with the letter C, which is why the vid was mistakenly sent to a contact saved as city attorney, the outlet reported. She filed the official harassment report 2 weeks later, asking for a formal apology from the mayor, requesting he consider resigning. The investigation found that Ross directly caused her inability to work in an environment free from unreasonable sexual harassment and created an offensive work environment. Because even though he accidentally sent it, the fact knowing that there's someone wanking it in the bathroom right over there
yeah,
during
that's a good
lunch
point too.
break, that's a little weird in and of itself. So eventually he resigned. The city of Minot is just 50 miles from the Canadian border. And so,
isn't that Minot? I think that's Minot.
Minot, yeah. Minot.
Yeah, you said
Minot.
it fancier.
I tried to class it up.
No, yeah, you said it
up.
fancier, but I think it's Minot.
Yeah, it's probably my knot, and he was trying to untie my knot with the video, and did not work out well for him, and he is no longer the mayor.
And I'm getting the impression that for a period of time, he fought this and says, no,
yes.
It was a mistake, I should still be the mayor.
Yes, he did. But the fact that you can't crank it on your lunch break, like that's not a place of employment activity for the mayor or any city councilman. You can't use City Hall as your own private whacking place. Can we agree on that?
Shouldn't there be like a protective app? You know how when sometimes you're sending an email and you get a notice that says, hey, it looks like you meant to attach a file. Do you still want to send this? You know, it gives you that little attention note. There should be some sort of, hey, this looks like it might be your dick. Are you sure you want to send it to this person?
I think we should invent that app. That would be a good app. It scans the content to see if there's a dick or boobs or whatever else. Seems like your labia is showing in this particular picture. Would you like to still send? So yes.
Could you imagine if his girlfriend then goes up to the employee and just kind of gives it her elbow like, I'm a lucky lady, aren't I? I bet you wish you
saw
were
it
me.
Full mass. You saw it at full mass. You seen him bang that gavel at city council meetings.
Right.
That's right. That's how he knew.
Any night I want, he'll just drop it and whack it right in front of me. Look at him. Look at that piece of meat.
That's right.
Look at that thirst trap.
Yeah. I'm not kink shaming, Kelly, which is fine if you want to, but don't do it on the company dime.
Yeah. No.
That is my biggest thing. Someone else has to use that restroom at some point.
Exactly. Here's another kink we need to shame.
Oh my God. This is another vote for why TikTok should be banned for good. Let me introduce you to this jamoke, who, by the way, somehow has 394,000 Instagram followers.
Jeez. What are we up to, 141 or something? It's not even fair.
No, it's not fair at all. Tory Casey is his name. And like I said, he has 394,000 followers on Instagram and is the author of The Ripped 50, A Journey to Self-Love. I think the mayor already took that journey. He recommends to drink your own pee to really kind of get a good idea of how healthy you are and what your insides are all about. He says urine has stem cells, amino acids, and antibodies. It's like the hair of the dog, a direct biofeedback loop. You know what's wrong with you as soon as you drink your morning pee. Yes, you do. You're a psychopath.
You're drinking pee. That's what's wrong with you.
Now, he not only drinks the pee, but he's got a method to the pee drinking. Johnny, would you like to hear it?
Tell me.
So he likes to drink the middle pee. So the morning pee is the most filled with all the stem cells, according to him.
Okay.
But the first splash you don't want to drink the first splash. That's emptying a little too much. So the first splash goes in the toilet, then the middle pee goes in a mason jar, and then you put the last drops back in the toilet, because the morning pee has the most stem cells, and if you ferment it for up to 3 weeks, it has hundreds of millions of. So then you put it out like iced tea in the backyard and let it ferment a little bit and get a lot of the good stuff in there.
It just looks hideous. Well, let's give you an idea of what this guy is all about. Now, in this short that he put on YouTube, I think he thinks he's the Hulk Hogan.
Oh, okay, gotcha, brother.
By the way he's talking.
Okay.
All right.
In this episode of Superfoods for Super Dudes, what do you got for me, Captain Positive? Liquid sunshine. Ho. Again? Oh, yeah. This time we put a little bit of cracked chlorella to take the woman out of you. The estrogen-dominant microplastics.
What?
This is gonna turn you from a super dud into a super stud. Yeah.
That's Ryan, by the way. That's Ryan from the previous story to his right.
It is.
That's the guy who bought the dildo and gave it to a daughter to put in the mom's bag. The guy on the right there.
So
what
it probably
did I watch?
Yeah, it probably shouldn't surprise you that he's all about masculinity and making sure that men are not in any way women. His political leanings might take you by surprise.
The circus has come to town. There is all sorts of buffoonery that is happening right now. We've got this person, the Kamala Harris situation. She has been selected. Again, how did that happen? Don't we have some kind of Democratic delegate process?
He's resourceful, as Paulie said. Putting his wireless mic, clipping it on his medallion necklace. I will give him that, because there's nothing else to clip it on unless he clips it on a nip.
Right. So yeah, it's certainly not a surprise as to where he stands politically. That's exactly what he does.
He goes on to say, by the way, that once the pee is out in the sun, it mixes with your own pheromones and it smells like perfume. He's added that people who have washed their hair with it have gotten rid of premature balding. So not only does he drink it, but he'll bathe in it, the old fermented pee, and rub it all over that bald head of yours, and hair will grow. It's the literal hair of the dog.
Can you also just take a Flintstones vitamin? I mean, that's always been fine. It's fine. You don't have to do this.
Correct. By the way, even if the claims he's making were substantiated, between being bald or drinking and rubbing my own pee on my head, I'm going bald. I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm going to roll the dice and I'm going to bald. I'm not drinking any pee. That's just my own personal thing. Your mileage may vary on that, but I don't know if I'm going to be one of the 394,000 followers of P-Man there.
God, I'm just now I'm mad because I searched it, and so now it's going to start showing up more in my YouTube feed. Really pissing me off.
The algorithms are going to be like, Johnny likes pee vids. Here's another guy who drinks pee.
Well, to keep it equal on both sides of the sexual aisle, you may now have a chance to have breast milk flavored ice cream. Does this sound good to you? Now 32 flavors. The Frida Company.
32 flavors from 32 Ds.
Yeah. The Frida Company, known for its baby, mom, and fertility products, as well as creative marketing, is now venturing into the food space with an ice cream flavor unlike anything you may have seen before. Comments on the company's Instagram range from, "I love this and here for the chaos," to, "I literally cannot believe more than one person thought this was a good idea."
Is it made from legit breast milk, or is it just breast milk flavoring? Because I feel like it's no offense. I feel like it's wasteful if it's being flavored by real breast milk, because we know how dairies operate. I hope that's not how they're treating their source,
right?
As the dairy farm they treat Their source for churning the ice cream.
The company says their ice cream will be, quote, be a pitch-perfect representation of the sweet, creamy, nutrient-packed goodness we've all wanted to try but have been afraid to ask. Will this ice cream contain actual breast milk, and if so, whose is it? The company has not revealed many details, just saying that it has the same nutrients as breast milk, like omega-3s and energy-boosting lactose, and also middle P. Sorry,
I was just about to say it'll be right next to. It's going to be right next to the pea sherbet that Mr. Casey's going to have. You're going to have breast milk ice cream, and don't forget about delicious middle pea sherbet.
Company is no stranger to divisive marketing campaigns. For example, its 2020 ad for their postpartum care products was rejected from airing during the Academy Awards for being too graphic. This time, Frida is trying to draw attention to its 2-in-1 manual breast pump, asking, are you pumped to try it?
It's almost as bad a slogan as the truck nuts, folks.
Yeah. Well, that's a good point there, Greg.
Yeah.
Greg wants to know who remembers what breast milk tastes like. Yeah, so how would you know if they got it right?
This has been quite the dinner conversation we've had here. You can sprinkle little grandpa ashes on your meatloaf, and then have a little pea cocktail, and finish it off with the dessert of breast milk ice cream.
Okay, I'm going to put this comment on screen, and what you do with it is none of our business.
Okay, all right. I will not be doing that, but if you want to be orange fugu gibbon or shoot gibbon or whatever, go right ahead.
Yes, that was fucking orange shoot gibbon, I believe is what.
Yeah. Also, go ahead and incognito tab that search. see what that gets you.
Yeah, I like everybody that's contributing here. You've got all kinds of.
I do too. Things. We love it. Yes.
For years, the podcast had been referred to as the Sex and Poo podcast because when you really kind of, if you put all of our podcasts into ChatGPT and says, what is this thing all about, they would probably say they always seem to focus on sex and poo.
They'd be correct. We've shown that so far.
So if you want to make a cool $3 million, NASA says, hey, if you can recycle all of the poo bags that are on the moon, they'll pay you
That's
for
a lot
it.
I didn't realize, pardon my French, I didn't realize we took that many shits on the moon.
Well,
that there's 96 bags full of shit that we have to go up there and grab.
Yeah. If we went there.
Right. Yeah, I want to see a conspiracy theorist be like, I'll do it, and then just kind of delete the cookies and be like, there, I deleted the poop.
So the astronauts, I don't know, what is it, 13, 14 different guys and walked around on the moon, left behind 96 bags of poo, urine, and vomit. And
okay. It's not just the crap.
It's everything.
Can see that. Okay.
And they're willing to pay up to $3 million for anyone who proposes the right technology to it. The challenge is called Luna Recycle Challenge, and the deadline for applications, it's just ended on March 31st. Agencies preparing to analyze the proposals and select the most promising technologies. Oh, Elon, we have something for you to do.
Right, exactly.
Could you go to the moon for us?
You want to eliminate waste? Well, we got the greatest job for you. Doge it up on the moon, Elon, and go right ahead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We got some waste to be eliminated from the government.
Drive one of your cars up there and pick everything up, and we'll get you $3 million.
What's the worst of the three you would have to try to figure out to pick up? I'm saying the vomit bag would probably be worse than the crap bag or the pee bag. If I had to rank bags I would not want to pick up from the moon.
And I wonder why we left them in bags. Kind of seems like if you just left them laying out there, well, I guess, I don't know.
With the gravity, I don't know if you peed, if it would float up into the atmosphere.
Right. They stepped out of the lunar lander for a minute. Excuse me, Buzz, I got to go take a leak.
Right. That's why it's in a bag. Because I'm assuming with the atmosphere, if you were just let it fly, it would float and then it would crystallize and it could come back and, eviscerate you somehow. That's just what I'm thinking. So you had to lighten the load before re-entry, I guess,
yeah,
too.
I guess so. I'm gonna go hide behind this crater, take a leak.
Yeah. Pardon me. Sorry about that. Been holding this one in since we hit out of orbit. Got to pinch one off here for you. Sorry about that, Neil.
But with
put it in the
return of
bag.
humans to the moon, NASA wants to ensure that history doesn't repeat itself, or that, or better yet, the waste can be reused. NASA is committed to sustainable space exploration. As we prepare for future space missions, we need to consider how to minimize various waste streams, is what they said.
Correct. You got to minimize your waste stream. Don't be just peeing all over the Earth. Roughly 55 years old, finally aged, says Paul. That's some good quick math going on. I bet you.
Greetings from the best damn podcast. Good to have you here.
Yeah, thanks for checking in.
Yep.
By the way, don't let the pee drinker guy know that there's good 55-year-old pee specimen. he'll want it for his own. And be like, I love so many stem cells. 55 years. That's amazing. Well, before we get to Twismo this week in slow-mo, since we just went from poo, let's talk about what my great aunt so eloquently said at one time, that a fart is just a telegram from Turd Island that a shit shower's on the way. That's what my aunt Min used to say. So
Was
here
your
are
Aunt Sylvia Plath? How did she? That's really very eloquent.
Yeah, my Aunt Min. She lived through some tough times coming over from Germany during the war, and that was one of the things of wisdom that was passed on to the next generation. But here is a list from Mental Floss, the 30 different ways to say the fart, and we'll go through them real quick. I'm not going to hit all 30 of them, but some stick out more than others as things I've actually said in the past. They begin with air biscuit. That was one that I had heard before, and I've actually used. There was a slice of time where air biscuit was the go-to,
right?
For fart. They also say a bottom burp. Had not heard that one before.
I like that.
I do like that one. The obvious cheeser, cut the cheese and squeeze cheese. We've all heard those before. I like this one. I think I've heard it before. The one cheek squeak.
Yes.
Have you ever used one
Never
cheek
used that
squeak?
one, but I've heard it. Yeah.
That's a pretty good one. They also have some here of the empty house is better than a bad tenant, says somebody. That's a long way to go. Just say fart in that particular instance. We have raspberry tart. Someone called it a horse and cart is another one. We have wind the horn is someone uses that. Tail scutter is another one, another term for fart from Mental Floss. Here's the last few one, rim slide. I don't know if I ever would want to say that in mixed company.
Mm-hmm.
I would never want to say like, hey, don't go in there. I just rim slid. That would be almost like whatever Kelly was searching an incognito tab. I don't want to rim slid. You got a bum crack, dropped one's lunchbox, a rouser, a orange banana, which I don't understand that one. And the last one on here that I will hit is the Bronx cheer.
The Bronx cheer. Really?
So
I thought the Bronx cheer was literally the raspberry.
Yeah. They actually have the etymology of some of these as well. I just realized that air biscuit is extremely malodorous fart or belch. Phrase dates back to the early 90s and originated in the South, but clearly needs to be used everywhere. The act of farting or belching is known as floating an air biscuit, is how it's used in a sentence.
How did we get fart? Where did that one come from?
You know what? It actually doesn't list how we got fart. The cut the cheese, this phrase for farting relates to the pronounced odor of certain cheeses.
All right.
The empty house is better than a bad tenant. That's from New Zealand. After you've farted in public. Farting in public is embarrassing, of course, but it's arguably better than the alternative. Holding in a fart can cause some gas bubbles going up through different places. The win the horn is a UK term, dates back to the 1660s. Tail scudder is an Irish slang term for a fart in the mid-1960s. Rim slide, this is a prison slang term for the 80s for a silent but foul-smelling fart. Oh, rim slide. Hopefully noting that the fart sliders from the rim of the, from your buttocks, which is why it's the rim slide. So that's a prison term. Got bum crack, which goes back to 1604. Orange banana is toot adjacent, and Bronx cheer, we all know, called the Bronx cheer, turned the dates all the way back to 1908. So there's different ways to let everyone know you ripped ass, which is another one that I can just add to it.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We, I come from a family where fart was literally a 4-letter word. We just don't say that.
Yes.
And so my aunt and my cousins, my aunt decided it would be called a honk.
Honk.
Honk. And we didn't know that nobody else in the world called it a honk.
Oh, no.
So, yeah, you go to school and you say, somebody honked, and then now the attention is on me instead of the person who just ripped ass.
Exactly. Ripped ass, indeed. It was that way in our house for a little bit, but I think by about age 10, it was the first time we got to say fart, and then it was over after that. It's just a fun word to say.
The game is on. Wasn't the first joke they found on a rolled up papyrus I think it was a fart joke.
It was a fart joke.
Yeah.
Of course it was. An empty house is better than a bad tenant, is what it said on the papyrus. It was very classy. It was a thinker.
The world's oldest joke dates back to 1900 BC. It's a saying the Sumerians who lived in what's now Iraq, and it goes, something which has never occurred since the time immemorial, a young woman did not fart in her husband's lap. And everybody was laughing. Couldn't control themselves.
If I ever go to an open mic night, I'm using that as my opening. You're never gonna believe this one. 1900 BC. Let me lay it down for you.
1600 BC gag about a pharaoh goes like this. How do you entertain a bored pharaoh? You sail a boatload of young women dressed only in fishing nets down the Nile and urge the pharaoh to go catch a fish.
Ba-dum-bing. Was that the Rodney Dangerfield of Egypt back in the day? No respect, let me tell you. No respect.
The oldest British joke goes back to the 10th century. What hangs at a man's thigh and wants to poke the hole that it's often poked before?
Ryan's double dildo that he bought for his wife.
A key.
Hey!
A key.
God, people were not funny back then.
I'm glad we've evolved. And one of the funniest things that we enjoy so much on this show.
Yes. Everyone comes back for this. We appreciate you sticking around for
this
Twismo.
Week in slow-mo. Twismo.
How about that? Gotta do my Mel Allen.
And our Twismo victims this week are a gang of drunk women.
Oh, boy.
Who always really get...
Judging by the still, they're all falling down somehow.
Yeah. They're outside of some sort of an eatery, and they've got some sort of food on a stick, and they're laughing and drunk. And let's watch what happens together.
Oh, no. Not what I was expecting.
Not the fall you thought was going to happen there.
That was the M. Night Shyamalan of Twismos.
I thought so too.
The twist came out of nowhere. I thought for certain that girl was going to face plant, or we're going to see her throw it in someone's face,
right?
Or something was going to happen. I was not expecting that poor schlub, who got real pissed by the way that he slipped on that thing, just kicked her food out the door.
Yeah, we're not expecting a civilian to get involved, and just
No.
an innocent bystander who wants to give
This is
whatever that
whatever.
just kick it out the door.
Oh.
And you just see now he's mad. Now he's going to give it a kick. Get this crap out
Get
of here.
out of here. Whatever that is. I love the sound in slow-mo. That lady loves every part of that video. She's losing her breath.
Yeah, that is.
So if you go back a little bit more, they're holding something else. We're lucky that guy's lucky he didn't knock that into the air when he fell down. It looked like someone else is holding.
Yeah, I think he's holding his phone. Are you talking about what he's holding?
No, there's somebody in the background holding more food. It looks like they're a package of food. Like a grilled cheese or something. They've already spilled something outside. Pick it up, eat it, pick it up. Yeah, see? Kicks it out the door. Right there. The woman's got a whole container. He almost knocked that into her face. There's almost a whole container of food that gets biffed. He barely misses punching that in the air. He's just walking in, minding his own business. Yes, that needs to be in the Olympics, Paul. Oof. They just kicked it.
I had the same thought when I first saw it. It's like one of these women, they're going to wipe out. It's going to be one of those things where their legs are up in the air and their panties are showing or whatever else is going to.
But this poor bastard just biffs it.
Just an innocent bystander.
Well, if you go
friendly
back,
fire.
If you go back all the way to the beginning, to your point, I thought it was going to end up like up the skirt or something. The way she like kind of had it for a second, I was like, "Oh no, is this going to be what I think it is?" And then she's like, "I'm going to hold it," and then this girl is very upset. Pick it up! I bought that for you. Pick it up! You need to eat it.
No, she's saying don't pick it up. She's trying to discourage her from saving it.
Gotcha. Okay.
And so, right here, you're thinking, okay, it's feet tangled up with arms, tangled up with drunk. Yes. And you're right. Correct. She clearly has a some sort of container of carry out
other
here.
Foods.
And I'm guessing because there are cars in the background, so this guy must be coming in from outside, wanting to get dinner.
He's either that or he's a DoorDash guy. He's just picking up someone else's food.
Oh my God, this poor bastard he's showing up off the street. I just realized that.
Yeah.
It's like, you bitches, get this thing out of here.
Son of a bitch. Just one wrong. He was going down already, and then he stepped on that and really biffed it. All he wanted was some friggin' dinner.
That is probably one of the worst things when you're the sober one and you are upon a group of drunk women. There's no winning there. I mean, everything is funny, everything is chaotic. And I'm sure I think women have the sense when there's a bunch of drunk men, they just go, whoop, I'm not dealing with this, and just go to the next place over.
No, dudes,
men will we'll walk right into it.
Yeah,
and that's
just
what
like
happens.
A tornado's coming. That's exactly what happens. You just kick the cheese away.
Yeah.
Way to bring it home, Kelly. Bam. How much you want to bet? No more than 3. If you were to let that roll for another 2 minutes, because of the state of drunkenness, someone was crying over the dropped food at some point.
Yeah.
I can't, but I was so hungry. It was delicious, and then he just kicked it.
Mm-hmm.
He just kicked it for no reason. It didn't do anything to him.
They were hoping they were pre-gaming and getting a nice base of food down.
Yeah.
And by the time they get to the next bar, now they're really tanked, and that's when you're absolutely right about that. The tears are going to flow.
Yeah. Yeah. And not for that poor bastard. For the punted cheese.
God, he landed right on his hip.
Yeah, he did. He's got a hip pointer. Try explaining that away.
If you have a slow-mo vid for this week in slow-mo, put the link in the comments or send it to us on Facebook or however you want to get to us. I don't know if anybody's watching us on Twitch, but we're on Twitch.
Yeah, check us out. Make sure also.
I don't know what they do over there. I saw a couple. Again, we're old and we don't know things, and so I started poking around trying to figure out what Twitch is. And mostly it's people gaming. It's people just live streaming their games. But every once in a while, there's this like, watch me sleep, or somebody just sitting there with their feet up on the table, and there's like 400 people watching them.
They had a big to-do about the fact that they couldn't stream in bikinis anymore. There was a bunch of gamers who were streaming bikinis and get a whole bunch of. I'm not going to do that. Sorry, I have standards. I will not drink my own middle pee, and I will not be wearing a bikini for Twitch streams.
Well, apparently you don't want viewers on our show, Mike. When will you start being a team player?
All right, I take it back. Middle P will be served up and nice and ready to go next week.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Hope you slip on a sausage on a stick or whatever the hell that one is.
Nice kebab right up here, you know what. But yes, please like, share, subscribe. Also, check out the YouTube channel for the quickies throughout the week. If you missed any part of it, of the show, we send out like 6-7 minute clips from time to time as well. So we appreciate your support.